can't just walk around and go to events right now. Like, you have to be able to communicate it. Now, there's things like this, interviews, podcasts, you can do your own videos. That's fine. But it starts with the idea. And the one path I know of to get an idea out of your head and into the world is through the page. Even if you are going to broadcast it, you probably sketch a few things down. You probably think about what story you want to tell. To me, it's all writing, and you don't have to be someone who identifies as a writer to do it. But that's where people get hung up, I think. They do, well, I'm not a writer. Da, da. You can hire writers, but if you don't really know and haven't done the work of really thinking about and writing out, what am I trying to actually say to someone? There's something that happens when you take ideas and pour them onto the page, and it can be really edifying and clarifying.
You've jumped ahead, but I mean, you didn't jump ahead. You've led into, like, I think a couple of things. One, people who don't identify with being a writer, right? Like, so I can't write. I'm not a writer. I never learned writing. I didn't take English. Or I have a lot of things to say. I'm just, I'm stuck or I'm blocked, right?
Where they love writing, but they're afraid other people won't love their writing, or, like all that stuff.
But inherently, do you think there is sort of one, is there one thing? I know it's different for every person, but have you seen common threads in your work where these are the main places where people get stuck?
Yes. And actually, a good bridge to that is the fact, and you asked it, and I don't think I answered it clearly, is in this day and age when, if you are working for yourself, if you're lucky to be in the position to do that, you have to write posts, you have to write emails, you have to be able to spell out what it is you want to do. And so what stops someone from doing that? Well, there are a few things. One is people think they have to write the book, write the talk, write the email campaign. First of all, you don't sit down to write a book or a campaign. You just sit down and you write one line, or you write a few lines, you write a paragraph, you write a scene, you write some thoughts. You only write one little part at a time. And then you take that stuff and you decide how would I say this if I was saying it to this person or that group of people? But this idea that I have to do it all and it's so hard, well, we make it hard for ourselves. Right. But of course, we focus also more on thinking about it instead of writing. The method that I have been trained in and use, which is called the gateless writing method. I did not make it up. I learned it. It helped change my life so much from a writing standpoint that I got certified in this method and now have workshops and teach it all over the place. The simple idea being this: when you can tap that kind of juicy creativeness, that flow, when you're like, oh my God, yes, this feels great. You don't have to have majored in English to have that feeling. You can have that feeling, but it doesn't come from thinking about doing it. What we do is we write in timed blocks. So I go, okay, like with my group, okay, ready? Here's your prompt. You have 15 minutes. Just go. You don't take time to worry, is this good enough? Am I not good enough? That inner critic and that voice in our heads that gets in the way of us writing, right. We do not have time for that. So, people talk about, oh, don't want to procrastinate, I want to do it. I do procrastinate. I procrastinate judging the work. Okay. I put off the judgment. I go, great. I think I suck. Okay, great. Why don't I think about that later? Why don't I put off that later and only focus on the writing first? And I'm astonished again and again about when you give someone 10 minutes, even 5. I've done a 5-minute prompt. What comes out of them astonishes them. And it's not because they didn't know they had it in them, because they never let it out.
I heard two things. One, it's too big, right? And the other, I heard I'm worried about judging it myself,
criticism,
and other people judging, mm-hmm. Right? Like, so I can relate to all of those most definitely. Sure. But I think, so this method you talk about, say it again, it's gateless.
It's the gateless writing method. It was created and is taught by a woman named Suzanne Kingsbury, who lives up in Connecticut, who I've gotten to be very close with him and learned so much from. That method is a specific approach. It's a technique where we do not allow, we write in a group. You can also practice it on your own, but I do them in online workshops. You do it wherever.
Right. But for those of us that need accountability.
No, totally. And you're in the group and we do it virtually and you write in real time. You're given a prompt, you write, and then you read your stuff out loud, unedited, It's brand new. We all know that we all create something rough. I've been writing this way for probably 7 years now. And
Really?
and you will be like, wait, it's scary, right? But here's the thing about this method: no criticism, no questions, no assumptions. And we don't talk to you, the writer, after you've read it. We talk about you. We talk about the work, and we only point out what's working. We talk about craft tools. We talk about the insights that are coming out of the piece. You know why? Because most of us were never told what was working. We were only told this comma shouldn't go here. This isn't clear. Fix this. Do this. We
Wow.
grew up having our pages lacerated, bleeding red ink, and we never really knew, well, was there anything good here? And so people are scarred for life. They can't write a damn thing because all they can think of is this wrong? Is this wrong? It's one of the biggest disservices we do to people, period, is we make them afraid of the page, and then they are not able, for usually a long time, to actually own their voice again. And so what Gateless does is tries to undo that. Now, I'm not over criticism. I'm still self-critical, of course, but I have a tool, and I have a tool for getting past it and getting at and knowing when I'm doing something well. I've learned to listen for what's working in other people's work, and I
Right.
know what's strong in my own. But if you don't know what's strong, how will you keep doing it?